Episode 1.
Are you ready to take your eBay business to the top? Well, if so, buckle up and hold on. It's time once again for So You Want to Sell on eBay with your hosts, Ron LeBeau and Ali Young.
Creating an eBay store these days is not that difficult a task. Creating a custom eBay store is. So if you're thinking of starting an eBay business, or even if you're a titanium power seller, let the professional team at AuctionProTemplates.com create a custom eBay store for you. Welcome once again to another episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
I'm simply thrilled to introduce our guest today, Jake Alberts. Great to have you with us, Jake.
Yeah, great to have you with us today, Jake.
Thank you, guys.
Jake has been selling on eBay since 2012, starting in a little corner office with a single goal. MX Store was formed to become the home of motocross online in Australia. Now with over 10,700 feedback and regular eBay sales, selling to motocross and off-road enthusiasts worldwide, I'd say they're doing pretty good. I've given our listeners an overview of you, Jake, and they're hungry for more. But before we dive in, let's find out a little bit more about you personally. Our listeners want to know anything and everything you'd like to share about you. Could be family, hobbies, or just anything else.
Cool. Thanks, Ron. Yeah, right. So a bit about myself. Started online in about 2007, actually selling SEO as a consultant. And along the way, I learned a lot about online marketing and the differences between e-commerce and normal commerce. And then we formed, like we sort of said about, like Ron mentioned about MX Store and its goal. We formed a monster and with little experience on what we were doing, got on the path to where we are today and continue to learn. I think that's probably one of the biggest things that makes this exciting and definitely what I want to be doing. I think it's one of those things that if you're an eBay seller or someone that's looking to do something a little bit different, it's because you're doing something right now that you necessarily aren't that interested in, and the reason why you might be doing your own thing is to be doing something that you are passionate about. So that's probably the biggest driving factor behind why our business is where it is today. If it was easy, everyone would do it. So
definitely,
tough times are welcomed and a challenge.
Yeah, I like the way you refer to it as the monster. That's very good. Yeah, and it's great to hear that sort of determination as well. I think it's one thing that's really needed. So, Jay, before we start each episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay, we always like to ask our guests to tell us about one person that's made a real difference in their life. Someone with such an impact on you, either positive or negative, because from my experience, I found that negative experiences tend to turn out and offer you a positive result. So, Jake, tell us about your one impact person that sort of helped you along the journey of e-commerce and eBay.
Yeah, cool. All right. So, positively, the one person that I've seeked, it's actually funny. This story goes back a bit further than just meeting this person and then seeking information or advice and help from them. And actually, there's a term in a model of business planning called the BHAG, which stands for Big, Hairy, Audacious Goals. Basically, a 10 to 20 year horizon goal, and we'd set ours to be the Surf Stitch of motocross. And I'm not sure if you guys know who Surf Stitch are or not, but I believe they're the world's largest surf fashion retailer online. Mm-hmm. And at the time, they were definitely miles and miles and miles ahead of anyone else in this country, and had a really good model, really good customer service, and they actually started out on eBay.
Wow.
First, before launching their e-com, or I guess their omni-channel. So I had a goal set and a picture in our little corner office of a picture of their warehouse, which was 3,500 square meters at the time. I think it's quadrupled since then. It's basically nearly an acre, just aisleways of pallet racking and tubs, and we'd photoshopped an MX Store logo into this warehouse picture. And then 2 weeks later, the owner of the business, the guy that founded the business, walked into our shop to buy something for his bike.
Wow.
So we actually got talking, and he'd been following us for longer than we'd been following him. So we got talking, and he invited us down there, and another week later, we're standing on that mezzanine level that the photo was taken from. So I'd have to say, from a positive impact, that guy is probably one of the ones that has given us the most valuable information and impact from a positive point of view. So probably have to say big thanks to the crew down there and Lex. So good guys.
That's amazing. And I tell you what I liked about that was that you not only talked about the person, but you talked about how you as an individual and you as a team had to take a visual of, so you actually had to see MX Store as a larger entity than what it started out to be. So you started out in a little corner office, but yet you put MX Store on this big building, and you could actually visualize it and see it, and you've become that, right? So that's just incredible, Jake. So
well, I can tell you now, there's one more thing to share that. With that, those same pallet racks and black tubs that they put their stock in is what we use right now.
Oh. Wow.
So just our warehouse is a little bit smaller.
Yep.
For now.
For now, yeah.
All right, Jake. Well, we like to give kudos to all of your hard work. And as of today, I did check, July 9th, 2014, you have 10,701 feedback. That's a lot of people liking what you're doing, Jake. I'm sure when you first started out, feedback was very important to your business. Let me ask you, how much time do you dedicate to feedback today? Because we have a lot of listeners right now that think, they're starting out with their eBay store, or they're struggling with their eBay store, and they just may not understand the impact of what feedback means to them.
All right. So essentially, eBay is a transparent marketplace, which makes it really good for everybody, because if you are good at something, and you do give good customer service, and you do deliver what you say you will deliver, and you've got good product, your niche, you can't lose.
Yeah.
So we've done, it's funny, a lot of critics will say, I wish we could get the eBay business away from eBay and to my online store, because I don't have to pay eBay the percentage. But I can tell you now, if someone offered you $1 million in sales, and you weren't happy to pay them whatever it is, 10% their stake for those sales, as the only cost for the sale, I think you'd be mad. So
yeah,
pretty much eBay is a pretty simple model when it comes to organic growth. As long as you know your niche, which is obviously a key thing, and you're not, you're competitive enough, and you're not going into a niche that's got 100 competitors all selling the same thing, your feedback and your customer service is going to be the number one thing that gets you growth and builds trust in eBay itself. When you do get an account manager and those sorts of things, they love it that you can show you've only got, we've got, in 12 months, we've only got 15 negatives, which is very big. I can tell you now, I'm actually fighting at the moment, because about 7 of those negatives are incorrect.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good to know that if you can do one thing, and that's be good at customer service and deliver on time and deliver what you said you're going to deliver, and it's all good, that you can grow a business. Not bad at all.
So Jake, now that we know a little bit more about you, let's take a look at your journey to and through eBay. So obviously you've had great success with eBay, but we're going to dig in now and we're going to see how it all happened. We want to hear about your failures and your successes, because our listeners need to know that you've been where they are. And there's a good news for them if they are determined.
Sure.
Jake, we all know that success rarely comes before failure. So tell us in great detail of a particular failure that happened on your journey that made you second guess. Maybe it made you second guess whether or not you should continue pursuing your eBay business.
This might sound a little odd, but I'd actually have to say the biggest failure would be the belief that in the early stages of our growth on eBay, that the success we were having was enough and was success. We potentially became a little too lax about that, and that was a failure in itself, because we would look at things differently. We were acutely aware of, and rightly so, acutely aware of inventory management, not selling something we don't have. So when we dropped the ball on our inventory management, which we've well and truly sorted now, we were selling stuff that we didn't have or we'd ran out of, thinking we were already successful without having a key thing in place like an inventory system or inventory management. we'd actually failed at that point. So we took a few steps back and made some big changes, and actually almost delisted and relisted our whole catalogue. And, you know, obviously you lose feedback and lose history doing that. But when we did it, we came back with, you know, leaps and strides, knowing full well that we'd taken the pedal off too early and sort of thought we were more successful than we were, and a bit of a loss there in doing so.
Yeah, I mean, that's great awareness to actually, because when you're at that level, I can imagine that, you know, you're making these sales and stuff. It's great awareness to see that actually there is something not right here, and then be willing to change that and sort of and do it, like you said. It's because a lot of people, maybe it could get to them, and, you know, they think they're making money, but really when they take an overall look at it, they're actually losing money. That's really good. Well, let's turn the tables now, Jake, and let's take a look at one success story now. I'm sure there's been many times along the way where you'd questioned if you're actually going to ever make it or not, but now we want you to tell us of one time in great detail that reassured you that your eBay journey, that it was heading down the right direction, that you were actually getting to where you wanted to be.
Yeah, cool. So I'd have to say that around about October last year, around about the time, we hit a moment where I actually calculated that we were selling an item every 16 minutes.
Wow.
On eBay.
Very good.
And that was a wow moment, because we were literally, whoa, you know, like all we have to do is improve by 16 and it's every minute.
Wow.
You know, so we literally took that as a pretty big moment of the ability to scale. Like big goals are now closer, or are much more in reach. So it's just one of those things that was it's not so far away now, you know, like if you think to sell something every minute, it's 16 times better than that, and then you sell something, you know, every 30 seconds is only, you know, twice as good as every minute. You know, the numbers become interesting and become a story of their own. So
do you ever find yourself sitting there watching the numbers go, or maybe before, or not so much now?
I've checked them 3 times since we've been on this video.
Okay, so you still do.
Yes.
Awesome.
Acutely aware of what we're doing and what we're selling. You have to know your numbers.
Wow, awesome. I mean, that's really amazing, the way that you can make a sale. I mean, to me, sitting here now thinking about that, make a sale every minute's amazing, because I imagine there's so many people out there who quite happy to make a sale a day, you know, and to hear that you can actually make a sale a minute, it's just, it gives people hope. It's really, I think it's a really important message. So, Jake, our listeners, they come from all walks of life. We have accountants, housewives, plumbers, pilots, you name it, they're listening to you right now. What they want to hear is a successful eBay seller. What did you do in your pre-eBay life for a living? I mean, before you came onto eBay, what was your jobs? What did you do to make a living, and before you sort of created this eBay empire of yours?
Yeah, cool. So prior to MX Store, I was still doing my own thing. I actually have sort of done my own thing since leaving school. I had a few jobs and things just to sort of, you know, keep the normal days normal, but would always be doing something of my own. And so prior to MX Store, I actually had an agency. Like I said, I was selling SEO as a service when SEO was unheard of.
Wow.
Learning about, I mean, I went to every seminar and every possible learning experience I could go to, really, investing in education, but not the typical sort. I don't really, university's not for me, or any of those sorts of things. It's learning on the go. So I went to a lot of seminars and a lot of online conferences and things like that to sort of just understand what's happening out there. So, you know, met some guys that sold SEO and had a background in sales, so I offered to put 2 and 2 together and learn from them. And those 2 guys are actually small, you know, at a small stage invested in MX Store just because of the resources they have, or they had, you know, helped us get going. But so prior to that, yes, basically sales, I would say. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to know how to sell something.
Yeah.
You got to be able to sell yourself and be able to, you know, convince people what you're doing is a good thing, or, you know, it's successful, it's going to be profitable, or whatever it is. So really, I put a big focus on sales and the psychology behind sales. And yeah, you really really gotta know what you're doing there. So selling, I mean, I sold freaking SEO to right back to clothing brands in a parallel industry.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a journey.
So did you think that sort of sales experience that you picked up along the way, you think that helped you with your eBay business?
Helps with life.
Helps with life, yeah.
You know, if you can't sell something, if you can't sell your own business to an investor or to a customer, you literally, no matter what position you're in, whether you're managing the warehouse or you're managing the customer service team or you're the director or whatever you are, you've got to sell. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Because I can imagine that's quite a hard thing for people. So these people have this product, I suppose you've got to have belief that the product's worth something, the product's able to sell. I mean, I imagine it's quite a hard part because that selling part can be quite hard for people, I'd imagine. But it sounds like you've got a lot of experience from it.
Well, it's that as well, but I mean, if anyone's ever been on a date, they've sold.
Yeah, they certainly have. Or maybe they haven't. Yeah.
Yeah, or haven't, but they've tried to.
Yeah.
They've had to. So sell yourself. So it's just a key skill everyone needs, and it doesn't have to be salesy. It just be the right thing, the right place, the right time.
No, it's a great mindset to have. Okay, well, we've covered the spectrum of your eBay business, but we haven't covered what your business is doing today. So, Jake, MX Store is your store on eBay. Tell us what's new at MX Store.
Yeah, cool. So we're continuing to grow the channel, obviously. Obviously, eBay, we've got more feedbacks in the last 6 months than we have in the last, year and a half or whatever. It's continuing to grow and grow, and we're actually at the moment pushing across stuff to eBay deals and trying to leverage the other platforms that eBay have.
Yeah.
And it's pretty exciting. Aside from that, we have a separate retail showroom and a separate warehouse, and we've just secured a new building where it'll all be in one, which is pretty cool. So
yeah, very.
We'll be in one building, and at the same time a new inventory system again, another one, but we'll be going paperless, so everything will be pick, pack, scan, scan, receive into location. It'll be pretty cool to be able to know where everything is and be accurate. We still have a tray of orders that are piled on top of every day, not necessarily on a large scale, but a few every day where we do sell stuff we don't have, and that's just a general thing that happens in business, and we call it the tuning tray.
The tuning tray.
Literally got to tune the people into, the customers into something else, or let them know that we can order it, reorder it, substitute it or refund or, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
So to reduce that tuning tray or not have one at all would be a great goal.
Sounds like you like to keep busy.
Yeah.
It's now time for the lightning round, but before we do, let's thank our sponsors.
So you're wondering how you can grow your business, yet your website is currently being hosted by one of those website-in-a-box sites, or maybe you don't have a website. Well, if you're really serious about growing your business, then maybe it's time to get serious about who is hosting your website. Bluehost is your answer. At Bluehost, you get complete hosting solutions for as little as $4.95 per month. And while that is inexpensive, it certainly is not cheap. You get unlimited domain hosting, unlimited space, unlimited bandwidth, and much more. Bluehost has the top-rated 24/7 support team of real experts ready to offer real solutions and advice. And if that weren't enough, at Bluehost, you will never sign a contract. Go to www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/Bluehost today and take your business to a whole new level.
Jake, this is where we're going to ask you a series of questions, and it's your chance to answer the questions as you care to. So they can be quick answers, or you can elaborate as much as you want to, okay?
Cool.
What was your biggest fear of starting an eBay business?
Not listing stuff that was going to sell, not believing in it, necessarily understanding that it was going to work.
What is one piece of advice that you can give someone just starting an eBay business that they could benefit from?
I would say when you're starting, just literally do your research on the products that you start with, because you only get a small list. I think it's about 100 listings or 100 products. when you start. I can't remember if that's still the same nowadays, but literally do your research, look at what other people are selling that's similar or the same. Make sure that you're selling stuff that you're going to get some numbers on the board, because the more feedback you get, the faster you get to expand your range.
Great. All right, Jake, so if you could turn back the hands of time and go back to when you were starting your eBay business with the knowledge that you had now, what one thing would you do differently?
Yeah, I would do what I just said before, where I would have researched a little more about the products that I could have got more numbers on the board quicker, just to be able to expand, to be able to request more listings and increase the seller limit faster. That was one thing that kept holding us back. I ended up getting to a point where I was in contact with eBay, and actually this is probably a good piece of advice: get in contact with eBay straight away. Start a relationship with someone there. I was in contact 2 weeks before our seller limit was due to say, it's coming up, we're already at the point, can we get an early release? Just to be able to get more products live. So that would be the piece of advice would be to, that's something that I would have done differently, would be onto what I'm selling, make sure it's high volume stuff just to get the numbers going.
Yeah, that's great advice. So when you started your eBay business, how much confidence did you actually have that you could really make money from it, much less actually make a living?
For me, it was less. eBay was is one of our major channels, but it was more that it was a channel. So more so for me, it was about making it a successful channel and using it as a customer acquisition source as well, just to grow the database and have people to be able to market to and push back to eBay and continue to sell to. So in terms of confidence, look, if there's other people selling out there in your niche that are doing well and there's still a market for yourself, then the confidence is, you have to have it if you're going to do it. You can't really back out. So I was very confident that as soon as you make that first sale, that's just that coin in the confidence jar,
Yes.
Yep. The ding goes off as it drops, and then start to sell more. So
yeah, I bet.
Confidence with sales.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I've heard you say research like 3 or 4 times in the last minute and a half. So I just want to stress to our listeners out there that research, you can never do enough research, and maybe you would agree with me here, Jake, but what research did you do to confirm your products would sell on eBay?
To be honest, at the start, we didn't do a lot. We really didn't, and that's something that I would have done more of, just to potentially have climbed the ladder even quicker than we did. Look, the research I do now, or the research I've done, more recently, is probably more significant than the research I did when we started. So, I look right into what competitors are doing. I look at the items that I'm selling versus the items that they're selling, look at their sales history, look at their feedback on that item, look at the pricing, free freight, not free freight, express options, whether they offer it international, and literally compare. And quite often you can end up finding a shopping list, literally.
Yeah.
So, that's one thing. The other thing is to look at other channels, not just be stuck on eBay. We do look at what's selling elsewhere, look at shopping channels, comparison sites.
Okay.
Look at other leading e-commerce sites that aren't necessarily on eBay. And you'll always see their recommended products or their bestseller lists, or, and you'll find that it's all about getting listings. The more listings you have, the more products you have on eBay, the more you're going to sell. It's a pretty simple rule when it comes down to it.
Definitely.
So you just got to make sure you got the right stuff at the right price with the right offer. We find now at the stage we're at, we can, as long as it's something that people want, the consumers want, that sells well. And the other thing is too, ask your suppliers. They've always got hidden gems. We joke around with one of our suppliers that he doesn't even know some of the stuff he's got. We say to him, like, what else are you hiding from us?
That's it.
I've got this new body armor in, and it's from a brand that we sell lots of, and I've had that for 3 months. We're like, well, why didn't you give it to us 3 months ago?
Yeah.
Right.
It'd be on eBay and be selling, so.
Great.
Suppliers are a big source of information. So research isn't necessarily just crunching numbers. It's asking questions.
Yeah. And how much time do you invest that nowadays? I mean, do you spend like a couple of hours a day, or would you do a week just researching, or?
I actually employed someone to do 2 hours a day on it, specifically on eBay, employed someone to essentially give us lists of things that people are selling that we're selling that they're selling better than us, so we can either do our job better or look at the pricing and either decide to continue to sell the item, or if it's because they're when you're running a tight operation or a low margin industry, which we're in, if someone goes out there and starts discounting heavily, then quite often it's not worth selling.
Definitely.
That item. So we constantly are trying to refine what we offer, and offer stuff that we can actually make money on and be competitive at the same time. So we research all the time. Like I spend a fair bit of time in our system, our inventory system, looking at stuff and looking at eBay sales compared to our other channels, and just make sure that they're all pretty on par, because that's where you can find quick wins. If in another channel you're selling lots of something and it's not successful on eBay, well, it should be. Why not?
Yeah.
So again, lots of questions. I wouldn't say I spend time on every day, but I do constantly have it as a priority.
Yeah, it sounds like a big priority in your business, and it sounds like a really important one as well. So, well, that's the end of the lightning round, and it's actually time to say goodbye. We'd like to thank Jake Alberts for taking the time to come join us today and share with us his great and wonderful experience. I'll tell you what, personally, I've really picked up some gems today, and you really sound like you have a real business-style thinking, and it's really been great to chat to you today.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. I know we're not the only ones that'll benefit from this interview, so we do appreciate your time.
Cool. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it, and
We will also post all the notes from today's interview on our show notes page, which can be found at www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/show notes. But before you go, Jake, please tell our listeners who are out there driving the car or jogging in the park, how can they find you? What's the best way to contact you? Facebook, Twitter, email?
Yeah, email. I don't really engage too much in the social media.
No, I can understand.
So no, email for sure. If anyone wants to shoot through questions or whatever, that's fine. Just send them to jake@mxstore.com.au. Yeah, feel free to send us a question or anything like that, or any clarity on anything that's been said. So. Okay,
so what was that? jake@mxstore.com.au, was that?
Yes, that's it.
Excellent. Okay, well, thanks for all the information. We also wish you continued success there, Jake. And for everyone here at So You Want to Sell on eBay, I'm Ali Young.
And I'm Ron LeBeau, wishing you the best success, Jake.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
If you are an online merchant, chances are you've heard of Terapeak. Terapeak helps online merchants like you by providing in-depth analytics to help you pull back the curtain on your competitors' behavior, pricing techniques and strategies, supply and demand, category and product trends, and customer purchase patterns. Sound intense? It is. Terapeak is the leader in e-commerce market analysis, dedicated to helping online merchants grow their business and become more profitable. How cool would it be if you could know the new and emerging opportunities? Terapeak delivers market intelligence that is both meaningful and actionable. Terapeak analyzes over 2.4 billion transactions per year. How many of those will be yours next year? After all, if your competitors see the value in Terapeak, shouldn't you? Go to www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/Terapeak to sign up today.
Well, that's a wrap to another awesome show. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes at soyouwantasellonebay.com/iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at Your eBay Podcast and Facebook at So You Want to Sell on eBay. And we can always be found at www.soyouwantasellonebay.com. Sellonebay.com.